The United Nationalist Alliance reacts to palace allegations against Vice President Binay as the party prepares for its formal launch on July 1. The Transportation Department will kick off the construction of a new terminal for the Mactan Cebu International Airport tomorrow. More than 500 people have been injured, over 180 of whom are still in critical condition after a water park explosion in Taiwan. And Kuwait has reported that the suicide bomber who carried out a terror attack in a Shiite mosque was a Saudi citizen, as thousands of mourners buried its 27 victims. Good evening. This is CNN Philippines Network News Weekend. I'm Roanna Jamir. The United Nationalist Alliance, or UNA, will be formally launched as a political party at the Makati Coliseum this Tuesday, July 1, following Vice President Binay's resignation from the cabinet last June 22. Presidential spokesman Edwin Lacerda has raised issues against Binay over the vice president's use of the Coconut Palace as his official residence. In addition, presidential deputy spokesperson Abigail Valte has called on Binay's appointees to resign. We now have on the line UNA spokesperson, former Cainta Mayor Mon Ilagan. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Roanna.
Yes, first, Mon, let's talk about UNA's launch next week. Is this some sort of a relaunch? Hasn't UNA been launched in 2010?
Yes, it has been first launched in 2013 during the election, and together with the other parties, the PNP and the PDP Laban. But this time, this coming week, it will be launched as the major opposition party in July 1 to join the 2016 national elections. So there will be no more interim officers after the election this week. Then the national directorate will be elected. Then the committees will also be formed from the regional, provincial, and municipal. The party will help send the support to Vice President Binay to continue going around the areas. The Vice President Binay will lead the officers to continue the recruitment of members and, of course, the coordinators. The main agenda is to help propagate the vision of the Vice President to reduce poverty in the country, especially in the different provinces, as reflected in the constitution of the UNA party.
Sir, yes, the palace says that after VP Binay resigned from the cabinet, that the others appointees should also do the same. What can you say about that?
The employees under the housing and the other employees recommended by the Vice President, one is that the President is the appointing officer of the government officials. They are not politicians, no, Roanna, so they should not resign. I think that's the bottom line here. And then, of course, these people are professionals. No? Some of them work for 5 years. They left their emoluments, yung fatty, what do you call it, fat salaries nila, iniwan nila itong kanilang trabaho, and then just to work for the government. I don't think that is fair. And with that news, that was sudden, no? Ang sinasabi ni Vice President dito, some of them are also coterminous with the President. They have made sacrifices for 5 years as they gave up the fat salaries and benefits in the corporate world. Well, as far as the Vice President, of course, he's saddened by this development. He said the administration continues to put premium on political ties rather than competence and professionalism. Kapag hindi kakampi ng administrasyon at ng LP o Liberal Party, markado ka na at wala kang tinatawag na puwang para magtrabaho sa gobyerno. So I think that is the essence. That's the reaction of the Vice President for that matter.
Okay, well, thank you for clarifying that, sir. Last question for you. The palace also criticized VP Binay for the use of the Coconut Palace as his official residence. Now, what is your reaction to that?
Again, Roanna, no, these are part of the petty issues being raised against the Vice President after he left the cabinet. No, the Coconut Palace, just to explain, is still owned by the GSIS, and the office of the Vice President is a mere tenant. In fact, nakatipid pa nga ang palasyo. Kasi nung nasa PNB ang office of the President, the payment for rentals was 1 million pesos a month. Now, even though the BP is grateful to the President for allowing him to use the Coconut Palace, however, pati yata yung pagbibigay ng office ni BP ay tila isinusumbat na rin ng Malacanang. Nakalimutan po yata ng Malacanang na pera din ng taong bayan ang binayad dyan, kung kaya hindi naman dapat na tanawin ng utang na loob ang pagpayag o ang pagtulong na magkaroon ng opisina ang Vice President sa Coconut Palace. In fact, for now, Roanna, the office of the Vice President is paying a monthly rental of 440,000 pesos compared to 1 million in the previous years.
Okay, well, thank you for that info and answering our questions today, Mr. Mon Ilagan. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We just had United Nationalist Alliance's spokesperson, Mon Ilagan. Kuwait has introduced a law that would protect the rights of domestic workers. The law grants around 600,000 domestic helpers the right to a 12-hour workday, a 6-day work week with a minimum pay of 45 Kuwaiti dinars a month, and an annual leave of 30 days. The law also obliges employers to give overtime pay to domestic workers who would work beyond regular shifts. Once the law takes effect, incidents of abuse among domestic workers are expected to go down. One of the most recent cases was that of Filipina domestic helper Almira, who was allegedly abused by her Arab employer's wife. The Department of Transportation and Communications will kick off the construction of a new terminal for the Mactan Cebu International Airport tomorrow, June 29. Transportation Secretary June Abaya says the project is an attempt to make Philippine airports at par with the best in the world. Concessionaire GMR Megawide Cebu Airport Corporation envisions the project to be the world's first resort airport. The new terminal for the country's second biggest gateway is expected to be completed by 2018. Travelers and tourism industry leaders welcome the European Union's decision of allowing all airline carriers registered in the Philippines to fly directly to Europe. The decision on Thursday ended the ban on the country's low-cost carriers after passing EU's safety assessment for the first time since 2010. The Tourism Congress of the Philippines says the new development will allow local carriers to provide more competitive rates than their international counterparts. This will also increase the country's tourism receipts as more Europeans are expected to visit the Philippines as tourist destinations.
Anything that improves connectivity to the country, right, which is obviously international flights into the country, we're definitely very, very happy about those developments. That will lead to increase in Europeans coming into and visiting the Philippines.
The University of the Philippines, Diliman, held its graduation rites today, wherein 29 summa cum laudes led this year's batch of graduates. The details from Yumi Lugod.
A biology major led more than 4,000 graduates from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, in this year's commencement exercises. Tiffany Grace Uy earned a general weighted average of 1.004, the highest grade so far since the Second World War.
Sobrang bigat po na responsibilidad ito. Nafe-feel ko po na marami pong expectation at hindi po ito ma-fulfill ng words or any grade that I could even get in the future, but through tangible service that you'll see po once I graduate.
There are 29 summa cum laudes from this year's batch of graduates. Education Secretary Armin Luistro served as graduation's guest of honor and speaker. In his speech, Luistro dared the graduates to do their share and be more aware regarding the issues and challenges the nation is facing.
Ang kailangan natin ay higit 4,000 mga nagsisipagtapos na magiging buhay na mga bayani sa ating bayan ngayon. Parang kailangan natin ng lahat ng mga nagsipagtapos sa taong ito para ating muling mabuhay ang ating bansa.
The graduates have accepted the challenge, and they are now planning on how to do their share in serving the country.
I want to become a doctor po, and then I want to serve po and help cure the Filipino patients because there's a huge gap po in healthcare equity that we have in the Philippines. 6 out of 10 Filipinos die without ever seeing a doctor, and I want to be able to narrow that gap with even not just by myself, but I also want to empower other doctors and make a big change.
Yung mga hamon talaga is yun talaga yung reason kung bakit kami mga naging scholar na bayan para tugunan lahat ng mga pangangailangan ng bansa natin. Siyempre gusto ko naman na dito rin ako mag-serve as a doctor, so hindi naman ako lalabas to work. Maybe I'll go outside to study pero babalik pa rin ako palagi kung saan ako nagmula.
At the latter part of the graduation rites, several students ran in front of the stage and called on Luistro to stop the implementation of the K-12 program. Yumi Lugod, CNN Philippines.
A reminder to motorists, the Congressional Avenue Extension temporary bridge will be closed starting tomorrow at 9 in the morning. This is to pave way to the construction of a new bridge in the area, which might take 5 months to complete. To reduce traffic jams, one side of the bridge will be constructed after the other. Directional signs have been put up for motorists affected by the construction. When we return, we'll check how the skies are shaping up and a look at world headlines tonight. Stay with us. You're watching CNN Philippines Network News.